welcome to Book Hoarding by Bianca. I have had a little bit of a cocktail, and now I'm going to talk about my fashion history textbooks. I took a fashion history class last semester, and these were the books that were assigned to me. The teacher was totally down for people to have like the older editions. If you have the newer editions, things might be slightly different. But I just want to give you a bird's eye view of these books, how I feel about them, and etc. Survey of Historic Costume, 5th edition, Keith Eubank, Phyllis G. Totora. So this is a fine book if you want to just learn the basics of a whole lot of time, because it pretty much covers like modern day through like the first garments. I think my biggest pet peeve with this, and it's the pet peeve that I have with all of the fashion history classes, introduction classes in most places, which is it focuses on Western fashion. So if you're looking for information for non-Western fashions outside of the ancient world, you kind of have to do that on your own. In terms of this, I would say if you are just like a total fashion history newbie, this might be an okay start for you. You probably don't want to get the newest edition because it'll be expensive if you're not taking a class. Honestly though, I would say if you don't have to read this for a class, I would find something else. I would like look online for like some other things. There are people who literally have put like, what is it called? Like the greatest fashion history ever or something. There's like a whole series. This one that literally is pretty much this survey, this class, which is apparently the class that everyone is the one-on-one class. And it's fine. Like it will give you really interesting information. Like if you've never done fashion history, you'll get such an overview of like a bunch of things around fabrics and importing and technology and the politics behind things and the classicism and racism and all these things, but also it's just going to focus on Western stuff. So if you're looking for actual deep dive into non-Western, this is not going to be the place for you. And I'd actually argue that like we should no longer be teaching fashion history classes that only focus on the Western thing, because that's outside of my control and that's outside of any teachers. That has to do with curriculum. So this being said, I would say this was fine. Like it has some really helpful pictures and illustrations that are like will summarize the eras that you're talking about. It has fine pictures that help you reference things, especially if you're doing like a test or you're trying to just get a basic grasp of things, like, you know, the quickly changing silhouettes of certain eras. It does have some museum photos of excellent examples and illustrations, but overall I'm just kind of like, if we continue to have these classes just focus on Western culture and Western fashion, we are doing a disservice to everybody. So yeah, I don't know if that's more of a critique of this book or the curriculum in which this textbook is made for, and like this is used by many schools. So yeah, I'd say it's fine as a basic overview of Western fashion, but that's it. Also, it might bug you that that textbook calls clothing costume for people, and I know a lot of people don't like their culture being called costume. I know it's only talking about Western folks, but it tells in the introduction why, like academically, they call it costume in this instance. You can take it or leave it, but I just want you to know. I also used this book, the DK Fashion book, Definitive Visual Guide. And this is actually super good. I will say yet again, this does not focus much outside the Western viewpoint, but there is a ton of visuals and breakdowns, and I would say that it in my opinion, it does way more outside of the Western fashion thing, which is really, really cool. It delivers it in like beautiful DK detail, and then it sometimes also has construction things, which is really nice. I really dig that it has construction stuff. Also, let's make my party come back, right? Like I want one color leg, one color sleeve. Let's be silly. Let's do this. Also doublets. I want to bring doublets back so bad. So yeah, it'll like bring you through the eras with really cool illustrated timelines. It has like features on designers or certain fashion icons. It has close-ups of certain garments and certain pieces. So I think it's like overall actually this is a really good investment because it has way more photos than the textbook, and I think it does a little bit more outside of the textbook in terms of featuring other communities and cultures. It doesn't have as much text as the textbook, so you're not going to be really learning like as many details, but I do think that there is plenty of information in here that will get you started on a pretty solid understanding of fashion history. Actually, I highly recommend this one. It is kind of a coffee table book, but it's beautiful. It's a visual guide that is actually stunning and also super helpful as a reference thing for anybody looking to get into costuming or learn the basics of Western historical fashion. I hope that was helpful so that you understand the kind of like books that I've had to read and my thoughts and feelings on them, and if you should invest in them if you are in fashion school or outside of fashion school. If you are obviously in a class, do what you need to pass your class. If you're not in class, I'd say that visual guide is probably a way better investment than the used textbook. But if you find the used textbook like for like $1 at a library sale, you know, go ham, make collages, make a mood board from all those photos, because there are a bunch of photos in there. Okay, I am sweaty. Thank you for joining me. Please, 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 please check out my Ko-fi, my Patreon to leave me a little bit of money so that I can keep paying for my school shit, because it is not cheap, and I also want to take some workshops on lace making, so like please make that happen, homies. Until next time, thank you for joining me, and don't forget to make it so.